Good afternoon, CTC Eagles. We are excited that you are here and joining us live or even watching the recording today to learn more about Blackboard. So if anybody is calling in or watching on Facebook, make sure to comment and ask questions. We are here to support, guide you, and help you through this. So I'm going to do, if there aren't any questions to start right off the bat, I'm going to go into an overview of how to use Blackboard, some of the features, some things that we didn't necessarily have a chance to go over during the new student orientation. So I'll make sure to spend a little bit more time in every area versus just the 10 minutes I had a few weeks ago. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can first see how to even get to Blackboard. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to our homepage, ctcd as in district.edu. Once you are here, there are many different ways that you are able to get access to Blackboard. For me, it's quick and easy just to scroll to the bottom of the screen. And once you're down here, you will see right here in the middle toward the left is something called Blackboard. Blackboard, if you are not familiar, is our online virtual classroom. So some of you may be in lecture classes that require the use of Blackboard to take your exams, to take quizzes, to see the syllabus. If you're in one of my courses or in the business department, that is how we operate all of our lecture courses is also through Blackboard. Some instances you are maybe taking an online course. So if you haven't yet, the one thing I want to tell you to do is to make sure to reach out to your instructor if you haven't yet logged in. This is extremely important so that you are not dropped for non-participation. So once you click Blackboard, this is what it's going to bring us to. So you will see here that it's asking for a username and then also a password. So your username is basically your student ID. So it's a lowercase c and then all of the digits of your student ID. Your password is going to be your birth date, month, day, year. So it will be 6 total digits. Now, if you're thinking, well, I'm brand new, I don't even know what my CTC ID is. So if you come down here to where it says see Blackboard login instructions, to review login information, you will be able to, everything I just said, you will see, and then you will also be able to look up your username if you are not aware of what your ID number is. From here, once we log in, the next thing you will see is something that's going to look very similar to what I have here. Of course, my resources are going to be different from the resources that you have, since you have a student login and I have a faculty login. Each will look a little bit different and it'll be organized in different manners. The one thing that you really want to look for, if you haven't found it yet, is something called My Courses. So I'm going to scroll down just a little bit so that you can see what My Courses looks like. So for me, you can see that I am active in several courses here. These are all courses that I am teaching. So any course that you are enrolled in, you will see a link there to be able to access the Blackboard classroom for that class, whether it is an online class solely, if it is an SVL course, which is synchronous virtual learning, to where you actually log into your class in order and use the WebEx inside of your classroom in order to conduct classes, or you come to campus for a lecture course that also uses Blackboard. So all of these courses will be listed here. And what I'm going to do is I'm already actually logged in as a student under this business principles lecture course. So once I click that, it is going to bring me in to this course. And this is actually an active course. So you will see things that are relevant to this week and actually even today. So you can see this is bringing us into the announcements. And my most recent announcement was today, September 1st, earlier today, following my lecture course. So this is definitely a page that you are going to want to pay attention to. Many of your instructors will post announcements throughout the week, once a week, or when something is important. Oftentimes I find that students don't always read all of the announcements. Sometimes they go straight to the lessons or look to the syllabus. It's really important to look for anything that your instructor wants to send out to the group, to the masses. So we're not going to, of course, read over each of these, but you can see there's information, at least in my class, information about what's happening, what we did today. And then as we scroll down further, it goes over the last 2 weeks so that my students are aware of what is going on in class. So you can see I have many notes here to include bring a jacket, it's cold in our room, so that they are prepared for the class. And then below, in most courses, you will have just some general information about CTC and the resources that you have. I do want to pause on the CTC Eagle Mail login here that you can see. I know a lot of students have been asking, calling IT, asking instructors, calling departments. If you are a new student, you will not have access to your Eagle Mail until after what we call certification date. So once your instructors certify that you are officially in the course and participating, then at that point in time, you will have access to your Eagle Mail. I've been told that in some instances, students are seeing in certain places on forms or on the website or in certain classes, it shows that you already have access to it when in fact you do not just yet. So look for that. If you're in an 8-week course, you should see that this week. If you're in a 16 or 12-week course, in the upcoming dates. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top. And one thing I'm also going to point out is that once you have your Eagle Mail account, you are actually able to get Office 365. So once you have your ctc.edu account, you're able to get this for free because you are enrolled at the college, and you can actually use it on up to 5 devices. So in most classes, this is what you will see when you log in, the announcements. Some instructors have it set up differently so that other things pop up first, but this is the most common opening screen. Now there's lots to look at in Blackboard, and each course is going to look slightly different as to what is on the navigation panel on this left-hand side. But in general, there's going to be some very basic menu items that are going to be in all of our classes. So the first one that you are going to see over at the top is Start Here. So if you are brand new to the college and to Blackboard, you're going to want to scroll over to Start Here to familiarize yourself with the course. And again, this is one of those that is standard for our courses so that you're able to learn more about how the courses in Blackboard are set up, resources that you have as a student, the importance of how you find your grades, communicating in class, and the list goes on and on. I will even take just a moment to pause on these 2 areas here, because if you are a 100% online learner, you don't always realize the resources that the college has for you. So make sure to read all the way to the bottom. If you need to learn more about scholastic honesty, meaning that you are actually submitting your own work and not plagiarizing, using other people's work and pretending that it's your own, that is something that you would want to ask questions about. Or if you are somebody who could use disability support services, there's information here on how to find that. At the college level, this is something that you have to self-disclose and report. So you would need to reach out to them. So if you're wondering, what do I do? This is the perfect spot to come. Click on the link to go to their webpage and learn more information about the program and the resources that we have here. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top. Another thing that I want to point out is that we do have tutoring that is available on campus and also online. So if you're struggling, please make sure to reach out to the tutoring center through our academic studio. They are a wonderful resource. The library is also a fantastic resource. They have a lot of tutorials on YouTube that they post. So if you're having problems writing a paper, if you're having problems learning the MLA or APA or Chicago style of writing, they have tutorials for you to watch, as well as live presentations. They will even review your paper to make sure that you are meeting those requirements and provide guidance and feedback so that you can make improvements. So there are so many resources that are out here for you. Make sure to just ask questions if you're unsure how to find any of these, or if there's something that you're interested in learning more about. We can definitely help you here today. And if not today, if you think of something in the future, just reach out to any of your instructors for help and support in those areas. So that's Start Here. The next area that we're going to talk about is BioSig ID enrollment. In each one of our classes, we have BioSig ID. With BioSig ID, basically what you do, and we're not going to watch the video today, but if you need more than what I'm telling you, be sure to ask a question or go back in and watch the video. This video link right here shows you step by step exactly how to create your BioSig ID and why we use it. So just in short, the reason that we do have it is to ensure integrity in our classes, to ensure that the person that is logging in is the person who is actually on record. Now you might say, well, how do you do that? How do you know this is an online class? Well, in creating this BioSig ID, you only create it one time. Once you have created that ID, you use it in all of your classes. So anytime you may take a quiz or a test or accessing certain things in the course, you will have to verify this ID once you have it, kind of like a password. So just like a password to get into Blackboard, you're gonna have a password to take something like an exam, and I'll show you what that looks like here shortly. So read over those instructions. Make sure to ask if you have any questions. BioSig has a great help site to help you through that. So be thinking of what you want your BioSig ID to be. For me, I will share it with you, and I'll also show you how to use it. Mine is 3 lowercase l's and then a capital L. So very simple. You can use that exact same one, but what it's going to do is track how you do it. So I use a mouse and I use the left click. I don't use my touch screen. I don't use my drawing pad on my computer. I do it every time with the mouse. So if you want to change and use a stylus or use the screen, you're able to do that as well. And then every time you log in, again, it's going to track how you do it. And if you are in the same location, so let's just say you're at Central Campus today in my 9 o'clock lecture class, and then at noon, you decide that you want to take the first quiz or the first exam, but all of a sudden, just a few hours later, you are in Germany. So obviously there is an issue there. Now don't get concerned and think, well, my IP address is hidden and how are you just going to assume that I cheated and get a 0? No, that's not how it works. We have a process that is set up to make sure that things are fair and the instructors are contacted and students are contacted. So that is the BioSig ID. Again, you create it one time and one time only, but you have to verify your BioSig multiple times in your classes. And it's the same for every class. So once you complete that, we've already talked about the announcements. In my class, I have a Collaborate online meeting location for students that have been ill. They're able to still log in and come to the lecture that way. If you're taking an SVL course, this is how you would access the system so that it's like a WebEx, like what we're doing right now, but it is something that is housed in Blackboard. So we're not going to click out to that site because it's really not going to go anywhere since I don't have an active class right now. But should you be in a course that requires you to meet at 9 a.m. or to watch a recorded session, it might look something like that. A little bit further down, you will see messages. In the messages, I'm not going to go in to create a message at this point because if I did, it would show you everybody that is in my class. So if you wanted to create a message though, you would just click create message and then it would show you all of your peers along with your instructor. Most of the time, your instructor will have SME next to their name. Sometimes it doesn't show up that way. But that is how you would send a message in the class to your instructor. So if your instructor has noted that they require you to contact them via messages, this is that messaging tool. So when you come to check your message, I would say every time you log into your course, read the announcements, check to see if you have any messages, and then if so, make sure to reply to your instructor because some instructors prefer to communicate via messages than the announcements. I know my department chair, he is big on sending out probably 3 or 4 messages to the entire group a week. I use the announcements multiple times a week. So just see what your instructor uses so that you make sure that you do not miss anything. So again, that's the messages. As we come down a little bit further, you will see instructor info. When you click on instructor info, it's going to bring up everything you ever wanted to know about that instructor. Well, mostly. So you will see your instructor's name. So if you forget who your instructor is, you can come back and check it out here so that you address them appropriately. Their work phone numbers. Keep in mind that oftentimes we have adjuncts or part-time faculty teaching for us. So if that is the case for you, make sure to just take note of that phone number and how to get a hold of the individuals. Also, our office locations, office hours, and important information is listed here. Some faculty will also include their biography or just a short intro to who they are here in this area. So make sure to check it out and get to know your faculty, and also make sure to see how you can contact them and when you can get a hold of them. Do we have any questions so far coming in, Marceli or Bruce?
Not yet.
Okay, thank you. All right, so moving further down, this is the bread and butter, the roadmap, the guide, the contract, the everything you really, 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 really need to know in any class, the syllabus. This is what takes you from point A to point Z, meaning all the way through the class, and to know what to expect along the way. The syllabus is something that you should refer to and refer to often to make sure that you know exactly what you were supposed to be doing. So let's take a look at it. Syllabus page 1 is typically an overview of course information, not necessarily what's assigned when it is assigned. It is stuff that you can come to learn more about the course itself, what you can expect to learn on a whole, in case you need that for any reporting that you have based on any funding. People that are supporting you, you might have to give them the learning outcomes that is there so they know what you're working on in each of your classes. You will also see the course materials. Now, these course materials, this is basically your book and anything else that is needed for the course. So for me, in this course, there is an OpenStax, which is basically a free textbook that we use for the course. So you're able to just click on the link and get your book. You will also see if there's other things that would be required here. Let's just say there was an access code requirement, part of our course materials. If so, you would see that here. Note that this is, I know a lot of reading, but I'm just going to point it out to you right here. It says this is not required, meaning you do not have to buy the access code for this course. Extensions are the same in every class, meaning the college has provided us guidelines and we are supposed to go by them. So basically, if something comes up that you are able to provide documentation, this is not the norm. This is an extenuating circumstance, meaning that something has happened in life beyond your control that has not enabled you to actively participate in the class. So make sure that you realize that just because you got a new job, that doesn't necessarily qualify as an extenuating circumstance. We're talking about more emergency type situations here. And then scrolling further down, we have frequently asked questions. So this is just something I have. Your instructor may or may not have it. But this is something that I refer to often in my classes. You might see something different in yours. Now I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, past all of those frequently asked questions. And again, that's going to be different. So if you see something here, that might not necessarily be true for your class in that area. So now you see new student orientation presentation. And this is something that our distance ed department came up with, another great tool. So if you don't have questions right now, but you do later, there's more help for you here. So you just click on that link and go to the distance ed website, and you will be able to view information, more information similar to what we're doing here. Now, syllabus page 2, for me, this is 100% the most important part of all of Blackboard. This basically truly is that roadmap for everything you have to do. For me, I am somebody who likes to cross things off, highlight them, check mark. So I feel accomplished for one, but also so I know that I didn't mess up and forget something. So this is what we need to look at here. Your delivery terms, and this is standard for each class. Delivery terms are going to tell you the start and end date for the course, along with the type of course it is. This is extremely important. So many students have received zeros on assignments because they didn't realize what type of course they signed up for. And you may not, right now, you might think, well, what is she talking about? Well, you could have a lecture course. meaning you meet, certain days of the week. You could have a blended course, meaning that you're required one day a week and the rest on your own online. You could have the SVL, meaning that you're required to log in and be active online at a very specific time. You might be in an online class that is self-paced or one that is not self-paced. I'm teaching a not self-paced course right now, and I've had several students say, most of my courses have been self-paced. I had no idea that y'all have courses with deadlines. So make sure when you are signing up for classes that you look for that in Eagle Self-Serve. And if in there you don't see it, make sure when you have access to Blackboard, which is always going to be the Friday before the start date. So if your class starts next Monday, this coming Friday, you would have access. So this is where you just take a minute over the weekend, make sure you're in the right class, make sure that you understand what's expected of you, how long the course is. So you can see that this one is a 16-week course. Some of our courses are 8 weeks or 10 weeks or 12 weeks or 3 weeks. It just depends what you picked. So you might have selected something that you didn't realize. Make sure to check this out. Another thing that I want to point out that will be in this area, this is a lecture course, so the verbiage is a little bit different. But for self-paced online classes, meaning there aren't any due dates, you start on, let's just say it starts on August 23rd and ends on December 10th. That's your start and your end date. Other than that, basically, a lot of students wait many weeks to get started, and you shouldn't, but you can. It is self-paced, but one thing to keep in mind is that even in self-paced, you have to do a first week assignment. If you do not complete that assignment, which logging in does not count, you have to log in and be active, an active participant. So in my class, it might be a syllabus quiz, or it might be the student introduction. Make sure to look to see what your instructor requires of you so that you do not miss anything. You want to make sure that you are in class as you intended. Once you are dropped, we cannot put you back in. So make sure that you are paying attention to what those requirements are. And if you're having trouble finding it, great news, you can ask. You can send a message in class. You can send an email. You can be active even if you're not sure what that requires initially. So delivery terms, extremely important. I'm going to scroll down a little bit further to your assignments and course schedule. This assignments and course schedule, this is really what I was referring to as to your roadmap to success. This is where you see all of the assignments that are required and when they are due. So since this is a lecture, it looks just a little bit different, but you can see here everything that I intend to cover. For my lecture, a tentative completion date, meaning this is when I think I'll quit talking about a subject. That may or may not be the correct date. So that's why I personally have an actual completion of the chapter in class and then when it is due. So you will see the assignment, the chapter, and the due date here. Again, this is the schedule of assignments. For me personally, I'm one who would print this specific portion out and cross off when I've done the syllabus quiz, cross off when I've done chapter 1 quiz, so that I know where I'm at any given time. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. Try not to go too fast for you because this is definitely a big section here. Further down, you have your exam information. Even though it's noted above, this is a quick reference for you to see, okay, exam 1, I need to study chapters 1 through 5, or I need to study 6 through 10. Also note that sometimes your exam, your last exam, really is a final exam and is comprehensive, meaning it covers all of the chapters. So you will see in my class, that is how it is set up, and in most business classes as well. So make sure to pay attention to what you are allowed to have, not allowed to have, how long you have on the exam, and where to find it. And then all the way toward the bottom, we are going to see the course grade. And of course, my computer has frozen, so it's not allowing me to scroll down. So give me just a second for it to unfreeze. There we go. So now you'll see the course grade. So with this course grade, these are the grading components, meaning everything that we saw above, this is going to show us the point value. So that syllabus quiz that I mentioned, it's 22 points. We also have an oral article report, 50 points. So you can see all the way down what's required, how much it's all worth, and then the total. This is really important to pay attention to. Some students think, well, I'm going to study hard. I'm going to take the exam. No big deal. I'm making 100 on every exam. One thing that you need to pay attention to is the point value associated with that. So for example, in my class, if you take exams 1, 2, and 3, and you make 100% on all 3 exams, which some people will do and think, I'm done, I got an A or I passed. Well, in my class, that's only 500 points total. 500 out of 1,000 is 50%. That is an F in my class. So if you don't do everything else that you're supposed to do, you will not even pass my course, because I put emphasis on the assignments as well, so that I can see, hear what you're saying, making sure you're understanding the material, not just quickly taking your test or doing something else that you shouldn't, like having somebody else take your test, which we do have measures to hopefully keep that from happening. But it's not enough points. So make sure to pay attention to these grading components and make sure that you are on track of things. The other thing I want to point out to you is that once you participate in class, instructors cannot drop you from class. So once that magic mark hits and you've participated, it's then up to you to withdraw from the course if you feel like you are not going to be successful, which is through this link right here. It gives you instructions. And then at the bottom, this isn't in every course, but it is in the majority, is a course contract, meaning that you are submitting that you have read through everything, that you understand everything, you realize the type of course it is and what is expected from you. Going back up to the top, trying not to make you too dizzy. So that's syllabus page 1, syllabus page 2. And I was asked today, a lot of my colleagues knew that I was going to be presenting on this today, to just reiterate the importance of the syllabus. Syllabus page 1, syllabus page 2. If it is in there, that is what we are going to do. Okay, so make sure that you understand what the syllabus requires of you, the student. Now we're going to move on to lessons. All right, you see here that there's no lessons. The reason that you don't see any lessons is because I have them hidden. I have them hidden so that you can go in and practice verifying your BioSig ID before it's exam time, because some people wait till the final hour to take an exam, and when they try to take it, there's something wrong with their BioSig, or they can't get it set up right, or they've messed up too many times, and then they stress, right? You're not able to take your exam, and it's up to the instructor to how to move forward from there. So I like to allow my students to practice. So let's just see what this looks like. I'm going to click on lessons verification. It's going to redirect me to the BioSig site. I am going to use the pad here, and I'm going to put in my 3 lowercase L's and my 1 capital L. Again, you can use this exact same password. Now you will see that my lesson verification went through. Now all of a sudden, all of the lessons pop up, and everything my students need are here for them all the way through. So let's dig into a lesson just to see what you can expect. This is how you get to the majority of your assignments. You're going to click on your lesson. And again, each class is going to look a little bit different, but for the most part, we're required to have an introduction, the learning out objectives of each chapter. And then as we go further down, you will see learning activities, which may be things that, such as PowerPoint presentations, chapters from the book, notes from your instructor, links to YouTube videos. There are all kinds of things that might be here, but these are learning activities. This isn't something that is required. Of course, we want for you to read the chapters, but we also know that not everybody does. To be successful though, I strongly encourage you to read the book, read the chapters, make sure that you are gaining that knowledge that is being presented to you. Further down, we have assignments. These are things that are actually due in the class. So you can see for this lesson, there are 4 things that are required for my students in this course to do. You want to make sure that you do each of those. And this also, again, is on that syllabus page 2. If you have it printed out, it would match what you are seeing here. Let me scroll back up. So that's the lessons. I'm not going to go into each one of them. Unless somebody has a question, please be sure to ask or type it into the chat. So moving further along, this article report, it might say research paper, or it might say blog, or it might say a number of things that your instructor has for additional assignments. So this is just where things that are bigger assignments might have a link so that you can learn more about them. So on syllabus page 2, you did see that there was an article report. It's also listed in my lessons, but again, because this is something that is a major assignment, I have a special link for it. So I have instructions, listed out here that students can read to make sure that they are prepared for this article report. And in my class, I even have a sample article report that my students can review along with how I'm going to grade it. So again, this is just a more in-depth look of what is required for that assignment. And in each course, that will look different. Most of our courses have a discussion board component where you are interacting with other students, other peers. So in this course right now, the only one I have open are the Q&As. The discussion boards have not opened yet. So if you were to go into a course that has specific deadlines, you might see something very similar. They might all be hidden from you. The reason they are hidden is because it's not time for those assignments yet. So if you're in a self-paced course, you'll see everything. If you're in a course with specific deadlines, you might not see everything. So what I want to do is show you how to do a discussion board. So right here, you'll see that this is the form that's created. So this is post your questions, right? So if we click on general Q&A, you will see that there's nothing there. And that's because this is for you to create your own. So if you are ready to create it, and what I suggest you do and what our distance ed department suggests is that you do it in a separate document, do it in a Word document, do it in an email to yourself, something that you can save. Oftentimes, Blackboard will time out if you are sitting around too long and haven't completed your assignment. So if you want to ensure that you don't lose your work, do it in a separate document and then come back here and you would then create your thread. At the same time, you would have your Word document open. So you might say in the subject, if you had a question about testing, that's my subject, and I cannot find the exams. Where do I go? So you could type that and then hit submit. And once we hit submit, now you can see that there is actually a question that is in the Q&A. So now your instructor, when they log in, will see it. Other students will see it. You can see that there are no unread posts and no unread replies to me. So if somebody did reply, they could click on my question here. Cannot find exams, where do I go? You would hit reply, and then you could tell your peers the exams link. Hit submit, and now both are there. And anyone is able to view these. So if you post something in the discussion board, others will be able to see it. Oftentimes, your instructors will have everyone else's initial post hidden from you until you have created your initial post. Once you create your post and submit it, then you will be able to see everyone's, like you can see mine here now, and then you'll be able to complete your peer replies if that is required for your class. A little bit further down, we will see exams. Most courses have exams on this left-hand menu. Some of them also have them in the lessons, as with the discussion board and the article report. Again, I have mine pulled aside because these are some common areas that people want to go directly to. Once you click on your exams, it will tell you some test taking tips, general information about the way the instructor will show the exams to you. And then further down, you will see BioSig exam 1, BioSig exam 2, and so forth. So when we were ready to take our exam, we would click on BioSig exam 1, we would enter our BioSig, and then we would move forward. In some of your classes, you might just see exam 1. And when you click on it, then it will bring up BioSig. So each instructor does it a little bit different, but be prepared that you're going to have to verify your BioSig ID for each of the exams. Further down, There are all kinds of things that are general for each of the classes, tools that are available to you, and this is going to be something that most classes will have all of the same information. Most of it will not be required in every single class. So you can see here, there's links to like McGraw-Hill, to Pearson's, to Collaborate, to the various announcements. So I like to tell my students this is great information to have if you're looking for something, but like for my classes, I have everything you need listed either on the menu or in the syllabus. But again, make sure to review how your instructor requires it. Now, one big area, if you were at our new student orientation that I forgot to cover, but is extremely important, and I cannot show you because even though I'm logged in as a student, I'm still a faculty member. But if you click on my grades on this left-hand side over here, it will bring up every single assignment listed or that's upcoming, and then it will show you what your grade is for that assignment. So let's say you submit something right now. Obviously, your instructor hasn't had time to review it if it's only been a few minutes. Most instructors will tell you how quickly they respond to your posts or respond to your assignments. Once you're in My Grades, though, after you've submitted something, it will show a blue circle, okay? So showing that you have started it. Now, it might not be finished. So like in a discussion board, I require my students to complete an initial post and then 3 replies to peers. So it will stay blue, a blue bubble, until they complete the entire assignment, meaning 4 total posts. Once that is complete, it will have an exclamation point with a yellow circle around it. Some of it you might kind of see an orangish yellow color, but basically that's telling you it has been submitted, you've done everything that you should do, and now it's being delivered to your instructor basically. So from there, you will continue to see that exclamation point with the yellow bubble until your instructor grades your assignment. Once they grade it, you will see the actual grade that is listed there, whether that might be numeric or alpha, depends on how your course is set up. You will also potentially see what looks like a little miniature rubric, like what I showed you on the discussion board. You can click on that if there's a rubric on the assignment, and it will break down and show you how many points you got in each area. You will also see like a little blue conversation bubble that you would see in a cartoon. And if you click on that, then you will see any written feedback that your instructor has provided to you. Some instructors will also download your work, type in on your submission, and then upload it. If they do that, there will be a link for you to view that as well so that you can see the feedback. One of the biggest things that I like to tell my students, if you don't understand something we are telling you, make sure to ask. We're happy to provide further information or to explain, or sometimes, honestly, it's just a typo. For my Eagle Mail assignment that I require in my online classes, I gave somebody a 0 instead of a 5-0. So the student asked me, why did they earn the 0? And I said, honestly, it was just an error. I was typing too quickly, doing my 5-0 enter, and instead, the only thing that stuck was the 0 because I have an older keyboard. So that's why that happened. So make sure to ask. Don't just sit there and think, well, I guess I didn't do something right. Always ask. That is one of the biggest things, other than read the syllabus and go back to it and refer to it often, is ask your instructors questions. We want you to reach out to us. We want you to be successful. One other thing that I want to point out, which it's not time for this, is that you can complete evaluations on your courses just to give us feedback for things that you enjoyed about the course or about the instructor. And that brings me to the conclusion of my presentation. So I would like to ask if anybody has any questions at this point, or if there's something that you would like to see further.
One of the questions that we have is basically, as a student, can other people see my personal information in Blackboard?
That's a great question. The only thing that they can see is your name. So if we go to messages, which of course I can't show you going into it because then you would see all of my students. But once you click on this create message right here, you will have a drop down of everybody that is in the class, and all it's going to show is your name. That is it. Your grades are private. No one else can see that. So where it says my grades, that is unique to you. The reason I can't show it to you is because I don't have any my grades. I have to go to a grade book. and only I have access to that grade book. So no other student can see anything other than your name. And then when you post to a discussion board, if you put a discussion board post out there, everybody can see that. Okay, so once you post it, it's out there. I've had students go to the discussion board to that QA question and answer area and ask me personal questions. I personally will delete it as soon as I see it, but I might not see it for 24 hours because if somebody posts something at the end of the day that's personal about their grade or about something going on in life versus sending me a private message, I might go to sleep because I go to sleep early. And then I get up early, but I also prepare for lecture courses. So it might be lunch before I actually get to see what that student has said. And at that point, other people could have seen that. But remember, that's something that you posted. So anything that's on the discussion board, everybody can see. Anything that is a message directly to your instructor, only your instructor can see. Great question. Are there any others?
Yes.
Okay.
So, the classes have if the classes have already began, and I've already did some of this stuff, and maybe I just didn't figure out all of it. What's the best way for me to kind of organize myself and make sure that I'm not missing any of the work? I know you kind of talked about a lot of things, but what's the main thing you would probably recommend?
So the main thing I would do is a comparison. I personally, I can't go back and forth. I mean, I can, I just don't enjoy doing it, going back and forth between screens. I might use two computers or I might print out that syllabus page too, and I would have it handy, ready to roll, right? I printed it out. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. So then I would go to my grades on my computer, and this truly is how I would do it. I would click on my grades and then I would say, okay, syllabus quiz. And then I would look on my grades and see syllabus quiz. If I saw a grade, I knew I did it. So now I'm going to check that one right off. Then I'm going to go to chapter 1 quiz. I'm going to look up and I'm going to see chapter 1 quiz has a dash dash, meaning I haven't even started it yet. I know, whoops, I need to get that taken care of as soon as possible. So for me, that's personally how I would make sure that I am on track and I have everything I need. One thing to keep in mind under my grades, um, in many of my classes, because they are self-paced, okay, everything is just open. Things don't close in my class until the last day of class at midnight. That's when it closes. So everything is listed in my grades that is assigned for the entire semester. If you are in a course though, like this one that I'm showing you, the only thing that you could see are the things that I'm allowing you to see. So under my grades, it would show that the syllabus quiz and chapter 1 quiz are open and ready. Those are the only two things that you would see. Everything that I have hidden from students would be hidden from you there. So that's a really good question. So again, just make sure to compare from syllabus page 2 to the my grades section. Great question.
And then what if I'm looking at the class and I'm really just having a hard time finding stuff? Because I know that I'm looking at things in the syllabus and I'm not really good at just doing things online, and I've kind of been forced to because of this whole COVID thing. So, um, how do I go about making sure that, yeah, because some things I'm not finding, like you said, the test and stuff like that. Should I just contact the instructor? Or should I just
Yes, that is a
figure it out
perfect
that
plan.
way?
Is to reach out to your instructor. Make sure that you are using their preferred method of contact, and you should find that under instructor info if they have something very specific or in the syllabus. I don't have anything specific for me because I will answer any emails or any messages however they come in. So for me, whatever's best for a student, you can call the office. Remember, under instructor info, if you're somebody that just needs a phone call, I understand that. Sometimes, I mean, I like to speak to people. I like to know what I'm supposed to be doing. Email's great, but if there's something I really need to talk through, a phone call is great too. But under this contact information, you're able to see your instructor's email address as well as their phone number. They might have a texting option. I know a lot of my faculty My adjunct faculty that work for me, they allow students to text them because throughout the day in their position, in their full-time job, that's what's best. They can get back to you really quickly. Messages are fine, but make sure to look to see what the quickest way for them to reply is. And make sure to provide enough information so your instructor knows how to respond. So if you just say, I can't find anything, well, what is it that you can't find? So have you been able to see the syllabus and understand what's expected of you? Is it just the exams that you can't find? Can you not see the lessons? And sometimes it could be something quick that the instructor can just email you right back, no big deal, moving on. Or maybe something technical is wrong in the course, because that does happen from time to time too, and we can work quickly to resolve that. We have a great tech support. So if it's something like that, just try to be as specific as possible. Or if it's just you were just lost, I've read the syllabus. I'm just not sure how to attack things, how to move forward. Make sure to tell the instructor that. Or again, if it's something that is very specific, make sure to explain what it is that you are looking for so that they can best help you. Because I know it's frustrating when you have a question and you just want to hurry and shoot it out, but take the time to actually type up the message, reread it, read it out loud. That's what I do a lot of the times, because when we get questions that I don't know where things are, then we have to go back and say, well, what specifically are you talking about? Have you been able to see A, B, C, D, and E? Or is there an issue with the textbook? What is it specifically that you need further information on? And then we'll be able to direct you much quicker than going back and forth. Keeping in mind that our instructors, of course, we are very active in our courses, but remember that we have multiple classes that we oversee, plus office responsibilities. So when you send the message, I know you're wanting an immediate response, but just keep in mind that it might take some time, up to 48 hours to receive that reply. So if it's something that is urgent, you can also send the message and then call the office if it's something that requires a quick turnaround.
So what if I'm in the middle of an assignment, I'm about to send it, of course it's last minute in the middle of the night and something freezes, what do I do?
So that's another really good question. And that is something that is going to be up to the instructor and how they want to move forward with that. But what I would be sure to do is document, either take a screenshot or take a picture with your cell phone. Make sure that, in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you should be able to see the date and the time. Make sure that you can see that as well as what the issue is. And then I would immediately, even if it's, at 11:30 at night. I personally am not going to be awake, but my messages are working just fine. So you can shoot me a message and I'll see it when I wake up the next day. So make sure, again, to take a picture of it for proof, screenshot it if you can, and immediately let your instructor know what happened. And then respectfully ask them to review and if there's anything that can be done.
That's all the questions we have.
Okay, well, thank you all for joining us. If you are going to, or if you are watching this in the future and it is a recorded session, please be sure to reach out to us. My contact information is right there. You can see it. You can copy that down and shoot me an email if you have questions. You can reach out to the academic studio. Can somebody put the information in there for the academic studio for tutoring? Or just general
Sure.
information? Thank you. Because we have an amazing staff that is here to support you, but they don't know how to support you if you don't reach out to them first. So that is another great resource, and they work with instructors if there's a course specific question. I get emails from Academic Studio a couple times a semester asking for a student or general information about my class so that they can better advise a student. We are here, as I said, to support you. So please, 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 if there was something that was not covered in this, or maybe something that I covered, but maybe not in the depth that you needed, be sure to reach out to us. Also, that the new student orientation that our distance education department has put together, that link leads you to a lot of great resources for technical support. And if you have just general questions in Blackboard, we have an amazing staff. All over the campus, but specific for Blackboard, they are a great point of contact as well. So thank you again for being here, and we hope to see you in future classes.
Bruce, you have to stop the live. I can't do it.